Regional airline Liat wants staff to take more salary cuts, and in sport, a task force set up to review Wendy's player selection. I'm Dawn Paris, and this is Caribbean in 10 for Friday, April 12, 2019. We'll be back with the details after the break. Regional airline Liat says the 6% pay cut agreed to by pilots and workers across its destinations is not enough, and it may need employees to give up even more of their salaries. According to an internal document seen by CMC following a shareholders meeting in St. Vincent and the Grenadines last Friday, Liat said the 6% did not meet the immediate cost reduction objectives of the company. The document stated that the shareholders are considering additional measures to address the airline's financial challenges, and it would continue to update staff on discussions and the proposed measures to be agreed upon. Efforts to get an official comment from the airline have so far proven futile. Last month, Liat pilots agreed to a less than 10% salary cut in a bid to keep the airline afloat. During a meeting in Barbados with Prime Minister Mia Mottley and her Vincentian counterpart Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, the airline's trade unions agreed in principle to a 6% salary cut pending further discussions with members. The Antigua-based Observer Radio reported on Friday that there seems to have been a misunderstanding between the workers and Liat management regarding the pay cuts. It said the workers were of the impression that the salary cuts would come from their basic salaries, while Liat thought the 6% cut would be from their overall earnings. Liat's shareholder governments, Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, have been seeking to get other Caribbean countries to contribute a total of $5.4 million in emergency funding for the airline. 11 destinations were also asked to respond to the airline's minimal revenue guarantee proposals. St. Lucia's Public Service Minister Eubaldus Raymond has been sent on leave while government investigates recent information circulating in the public. A statement from the Office of the Attorney General said the outcome of the probe will be presented to the public. Earlier this week, Prime Minister Alan Chastanet denied reports that Raymond had resigned amidst media reports that he was at the center of a salacious conversation that had gone viral on social media last weekend. Local media reported that Raymond had tendered his resignation following the release of a telephone conversation between a man believed to be him and a woman with a foreign accent. In the statement, the Office of the Attorney General said that as a consequence of this initial probe, more information has come to light which warrants further investigations by the relevant authorities. Guyana's opposition leader Barrett Jagdeo is condemning CARICOM's position on the Venezuela crisis. The regional grouping continues to be divided on issues pertaining to the political and economic crisis in the Spanish-speaking Caribbean nation. Most recently on Tuesday, when 4 CARICOM member states voted to accept the nomination of an opposition envoy as the Spanish-speaking nation's ambassador to the Organization of American States. 4 other states voted against the measure and 5 abstained. Jagdeo voiced his concerns on CNC3's Morning Brew program.
The Chinese president believes CARICOM could have adopted a position similar to that of the African Union, namely that neighboring countries cannot be indifferent in the wake of the collapse of democracy in any given state. According to Mr. Jagdeo, the democratic order and constitutional institutions in Venezuela have been ruptured and are under serious threat, a reality that cannot be ignored, and a position of non-interference is untenable.
Issues of freedom, democracy, human rights are universal principles that we have to all defend. And whenever they are violated in any country, no government or any other force that violates these sacred principles should use non-interference as an excuse to continue harming people's interests.
Stay with us, your Midday Sport is next.
Over 1,000 dragon boat paddlers and supporters from countries like Canada, Panama, and the United States gathered at the Pigeon Point Heritage Park for the 4th biennial Pan American Dragon Boat Crew Championships. The park's water conditions are exceptional. One side is famous for its clear, calm waters, while the other side has deeper, choppier waters. That's perfect for visitors who are into sports such as dragon boat racing.
So it's starting to foam there, as you can see. Now you want to throw this very slowly and gently. So now we're going to add our cake mixture to this here. You don't have to let it cool off, but just add slowly.
Cricket West Indies CWI boss says a task force is to be set up to conduct a comprehensive review of the system of player selection. CWI President Ricky Scarrett said the review is intended to identify the best possible practices when it comes to choosing players for tournaments. He made the disclosure yesterday at a press conference in Antigua, where he announced Floyd Reefer as West Indies' new interim head coach and Robert Haynes as the new interim chairman of selectors.
There's a task force being put in place under the chairmanship of the vice president to, within 3 months, make recommendations for a new system going forward, taking the best of what was there and adding to it the best of what is required for the future.
Meantime, the change of guard in CWI has given all-rounder Kieron Pollard hope of making the World Cup squad. Pollard, who last played an ODI for the West Indies in 2016, says he'd like to wear the maroon when the much-anticipated tournament bowls off next month. He was speaking after leading Mumbai Indians to a sensational 3-wicket victory over Kings 11 Punjab in an Indian Premier League game with a whirlwind 83 off 31 balls that included 10 sixes and 3 fours. Under the leadership of Scarrett's predecessor, Dave Cameron, there had been several fallouts with senior West Indies players. And when Pollard was asked if he thought he could now be picked in the West Indies squad for the World Cup, which begins in England on May 30th, he hinted that he was hopeful of making the team.
There have been a lot of turmoil in West Indies cricket over the last couple of years, but what we have seen in the last couple of weeks, there's a change. Pollard was one of the guys blacklisted. The most I can do every time I step on the cricket field is try to put runs on the board. There's people there who have the jobs to select and whatever, and we see how that goes. As I said, I'm 31 years, Chris Gill is still playing and he's 39 and he's still whacking it out of the ground.
And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us at 6:30 this evening for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.